Greetings everyone, and great here for another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the left side as the green Tabitha, we got Yoshierider. Spawn on the right side as the red, I always forget the name of this one, Zhaotiantong. We have a RedFlower. Zhaotiantong has a reduced boarding cost of minus 90%, so you get a 90% refund of the unit while loading a CO unit into there. Has no CO zone radius, no expansion, no energy, and it just gives you boarding cost is 90, which means the CO unit gets a refund of 90% of the production of the cost. Cannot board Navy units that's located on HQs. Oh, that could have been an X point. Did I say magenta or red? I'm sorry. Allergies are starting to kick on in. Let's see. And of course, Tabitha, she's unchanged cartridge, very powerful. 50% boarding cost, 0 radius, 30, 60, 60. Her CO unit, and then eventually later on other units as CO zones start expanding, gets plus 60, plus 60 attack and defense. And of course, she has access to Sturm's Meteor as a superpower. Either way, let's go ahead and get started. This is a Fog of War map. It is 2 base, 1 airport, and potentially 2 seaports. Not like you won't be able to utilize both seaports. There are comm towers in the top and bottom part of the map, as well as radar stations. Radar stations do provide funding and 3 stars of defense stars. And seeing there across bridges, that could be a pretty good hard point there as well. Both players do start off with lander and gunboat. Bike, and the port has been captured, pushing the infantry unit back there. They actually a decent amount of water terrain as well. We've got a lot of rough seas, which I always have to be reminded, it's been a while. Makes naval units have 2 movement cost. And of course, there are also the Mist on Sea tile, which I think is unique to Tiny Wars, which is a hiding spot for sea, which provides 1 defense star. Rough Seas does provide 2 defense stars. Gunboat does prop off a unit there. We do have our artillery piece up there. Polygon set up on this ruins there to provide some protection in this region. Recon and bike there. We got a transport copter. There is actually a decent number of cities in the corners for cities, so it's a good idea to actually get the transport copter, get them. Tabitha has loaded herself up to a command tank. Now I think that tank has more firepower and defense as a medium tank. Costs probably a little bit more as well. Let's see. Miss on sea was on cartridge. Tiny Wars changed it, was letting you put on land too. Got it. It's been a while since I last picked up my Nintendo DS. Good strike there. Takes out that recon. Getting Tabitha's 10 energy. Her CO zone and power, it follows a bit of a trend. Initially, she's a duelist and or a sniper or assassin, which it's her job to get her own CO charge generated. But when she gets +1 CO zone, she becomes a bit more of a wall break. So there's a wall, she can smash into it. Then with a 1 extra CO zone radius, then a couple of their units can pop on, push forward with her as well, to smash through the wall as well. And then if there's anything left the wall, you can nuke it with a meteor or firestorm rocket. We got an anti-air up here. No battlecopters deployed on the field just yet, just T-copters. Oh, you can get a gunboat across because that's all bridges there. I keep completely glazed over that. Flare artillery. Oh, thank you for the YouTube subscription. Welcome to the channel. I still don't have notifications to figure out who is what on a list of feed, because YouTube subscription for me, it could be on any video or even just a channel itself, so pops up. In fact, if I have OBS still open, even though there's no live stream going, I can still hear those sound effects, which really creeps me out, wondering if I had live streaming, me just doing something stupid like playing some Planetfall. Got double artillery down south there versus a single recon. Good strike there, takes out that anti-air with the artillery in the on the forest and on the waist on the ruins. There's a lot of good defensive capability on the flanks. So battleships are probably the name of the game. We may see a Zhaotiantong. He gets a 90% refund on boarding units, so he's going to load up a steel unit into the battleship to get 90% refund in the battleship. Oh, plus it also puts a max veterancy status. It does CO the battleship as well. Nice, 46,000 in the bank. He can go for a second battleship and a bomber. Oh, he is going to do a double base skip, but that's fine. Tabitha does have one CO zone expansion now, so she's in a pretty good state, but her tank is quite wounded, so she may need to fall, get repaired, and maybe join the best. Does have to fall back entirely with her. She wants to keep her CO power, because the Firestorm's one way to stop the battleships. We got... Green does spot the artillery piece, doesn't spot the other one. If the bike scouts out the forest, the artillery piece could get a good strike there. Battleship's now bombarding their bomber, takes out the anti-air. Got another anti-air in range of the bomb. Oh wait, no. It's not in... Oh wait. Yes, it is in range. Does get trapped there, and there's the artillery. Oh yeah. I mentioned that there's the waste of the ruins and the forest there, but there's also the city there, so there's a lot of defensive terrain. Tabitha needs to get something to counter out these ships. India gets a good strike there, so pretty good value there. We do have a cruise on the field to take out that battlecopter. Does get trapped there. Takes it out. Just a flare in the region. And Tabitha goes for her own bomber. Bomber heads down south for the winter. Battleship falls back to the seaport. I think some of battleships should stay in the front line and start bombarding everything. Probably capturing this temporary port should be pretty useful for the bomber, though. Tabitha has captured a temporary airport. Oh, like I said, there was the wall break there. She's at 58 energy. If Red needs to pull back away from the CO zone, because she can't cast the... She needs a little more energy, and she can only get that by not moving her tank. So pulling back from the tank would prevent the superpower from being launched next turn. That artillery piece has to pull back. If not, it's going to get killed off either way. And a firestorm would be devastating, or knock out those ships. But decided to go after the command tank. It's not going to go down. That was a drastic mistake. Now she can have the battlecopter hit the artillery piece and then pull back the command tank and bring in the firestorm. This was a critically bad mistake, I would say. There we go. Probably won't strike off a bit of spotting. Bring in the firestorm. Right there. Huh. Did not hit this battleship? Let's go back a little bit. It landed right there. It did not target the battleship. Huh. I would assume landing right here would be the biggest value spot. Did it bug out? Oh! The AI, I don't know, firestorms, how do they work? Do they go for HP rather than value? Because that would be an HP. It must be exactly like Sturm's Meteor. It's probably there has a random effect. Go for, has a chance going for HP, has a chance to go for value, and probably has a chance to go for indirects. So she must have rolled a HP Firestorm if it's exactly the same as a Sturm Meteor. Von Bolt always does value. But still, that's a pretty good strike there. It knocks out a battleship. And plus now she has plus 60 global. Goes for a fighter. Really wants to make sure the battleships does not go down. Looks like the Duster is in range of the bomber, but may have trouble doing damage to it with the plus 60% defense. Yeah, 2 damage. She can fall back to the temporary port and get that healed up no problem. She just wants to get away from the Duster. APC now pulling in the field. Battlecopter takes the battlecopter. Bomber decides to fall back in presence. We do have a Tabitha battleship now on the field. Good strike on the anti-air. Takes out that tank there. And there's an anti-air in the woods ready to take out that Duster. Cruiser does finish off that wounded battlecopter, and here gives a good strike there onto that battlecopter as well. Tabitha has no energy in her CO zone. Her command tank will be up to 9 health, which should be good enough. We got a missile here. Alright, flip some properties. Good strike there. Does not spot the missile, of course. Battleship gets a good strike there on the cruiser, which the bomber may charge for to sink the cruiser. How much did bombers do versus cruisers again? Reasonable. They were definitely... Cruisers were heavily buffed. They made Navy a bit more fun in Days of Ruin compared to all the advanced wars. Gets a good strike there onto the artillery piece, and that bomber made a relatively weird sound, maybe because of the fighter and the bomber sound effect, I don't know. Gunboats gets a good strike there on the battleship. Of course, gunboats have only 1 ammo, but definitely pretty much worth it to strike that battleship like that. Does interrupt the capture there. Tabitha did not push forward with a command tank last turn. Helicopter does fall back. Gets a good strike there. Does not finish off the unit there. Takes out the bike, no problem. But she's going to receive fire from the bomber and the battleship. Sub deployed in the field. And gets trapped on the flare. That was a mistake. I wonder how much damage a 2 health Duster can do to a fighter. If it just gets 1 point damage, it'd probably be worth it. Yeah, probably not worth it. But again, the Duster needs to fall back to that temporary port. But looks the bomber is making his way over there now. Good strike there on the fighter. Artillery piece push way forward. So looks like what was his name again? Zhaotiantong. Make some good progress up north. Right now he has a value of 106 in the field versus top has 140, so she is falling a little bit behind. Summery gets a good shot onto the battleship. Bomber pushes his way forward. Now we got a dust up on field, and this lander is getting pretty low in fuel. Gotta be careful of that. Does spot the command tank there, but the command tank won't be able to get anything. Everything's hidden. We'll need a spotter down south. Alright, put some properties there. Good strike there. Fighter is doing what it can before going down. Duster push way forward. Bomber is a good strike on that mech. Throws him relative to the rig, so won't be able to pull his temporary report this turn. Tank there. Double artillery presence on the map, and the command tank just waits down south. Looks like Tabitha is just relegating her command unit just to camp down south, prevent any sort of advance. Oh, and the T-copter gets trapped on the sub there, which allowed the cruiser to get a good shot. Was that a good thing? That may be actually a good thing, allowing the sub to be knocked out, pretty much. Artillery falls back, takes up both those battle copters, gets trapped there on the artillery piece. Lots of good kills there. Temporary airport will be built next turn if he chooses. And those the command tank stays right there. And gets trapped again. Is that a good thing? I think it is. It's not like it's loaded with anything. Takes out the unit trying to flip the radar. Another anti-air deployed on the field. Command tank does get spotted and bomb. And gets them down, so looks like Tabitha's command tank will go down next turn. And Tabitha's bomber is surrounded as well. The artillery piece will break it out. And my apologies, everyone. I have to use the restroom. I'll be right back. My apologies, everyone. I'm back. Let's see, what was I doing again? ATR push way forward. T-copter move around. Battlecopter falls back. Artillery piece went back to the comm tower. Gets a good strike there on the anti-air with the artillery piece and finish off the recon. Tabitha is having a little bit of trouble here. It does have a good number of artillery there to fence itself with. Does take out the knocks out the bomber, knocks out the artillery piece. So there's a healthy number of bombs there. At this point in time, she may need to put out another fighter, maybe just more dusters. Cruisers could be a possibility. Try to lure the bomber on top of some open sea and bring in a cruiser. Zhaotiantong does end a turn of 190. Tabitha starts a turn of 138. There's a capture there. Bomber heading down south to stop this advance. Anti-air there. That was for bring back the bomber to the temporary airport. Gunboat does drop off an infantry unit there. Duster does do a little bit of sweep there. Blair does fire up north. Tank does do a recon pass. Throws some rounds of the battlecopter. Does get a good strike there onto the artillery piece. Bomber charged way forward. Does not spot a cruiser and did risk it, but this time the risk was successful as there's no cruiser to retaliate, nor duster, nor fighter. Good strike there. Tank does a good strike on the unit. Artillery piece moves down south, rotating around a little bit there. Overall, Zhaotiantong is going to have an excellent force up here, to say the least. Anti-air pushing the center of the map, very nice. Fighter there, very nice. Here, finish off the battlecopter, get some good strikes up there. Battlecopter engage that. Bomber knocks out the artillery piece. Does not take out the pike there. Flare finish off that one unit. Duster finish off the battlecopter, trying to capture that property now. Battleship takes out the rest of that unit there. Tabitha's basically completely gone up north. She does have a decent amount of force on down south. But Zhaotiantong is at 225 versus 149. Good strike there onto the bomber. Blair charge way forward. Anti-air is just trying to find some spots to ambush aircraft to go back in the center. Duster and infantry deployed in the field. Artillery gets a good strike there. Missile push way forward. Battleship's actually at down to 1 ammo. Battlecopter hits battlecopter, gets spots the anti at the last of her wrong moment. We do now have a APC or rig deployed on the field. Could go for another seaport, temporary seaport, or go for another temporary airport. Fighter takes out that bomber. And the missile is in range. So that missile is going to immediately pay for itself. Takes out the fighter, giving much more air supremacy for Red. It'll bring in the protect this bomber and Duster. Duster has a lot of targets here. Blair gets a hit. And there goes the fighter to a missile. Good strike there onto the bomber. Of course, there's another anti-air there, which could be barrage if it gets spotted. Blair's actually out of ammo. There's also a missile down here as well. Does spot the anti-air there and does hit up the battleship and finish off with the bomber. Battlecopter infantry there. Good hits there on the command battleship, the flagship. Boosts the command medium tank. Good strike there on the duster. Anti-air, another medium tank up there. If Tabitha is able to squeeze out another Firestorm, that could be great. A third missile deployed on the field, which is not a really great idea at this moment in time. I think more dusters would be a great alternative. Just try to hit the bomber, try to whittle them down slowly, rather go for expensive fighters. And honestly, I still think a cruiser would have been very useful. After all, this cruiser is actually at max veterancy, so it's got a decent amount of work done. The cruiser here would have been very useful to take out some of these units, plus with the sub there, which he may have not seen just yet. Takes out the duster there. Goes for another fighter, more infantry. There's so many missiles in the field. A lot of good missile coverage. If I were to pause the game, this is the current missile coverage. Oh. Huh. You can see a decent amount of missile coverage on the map. This missile is now down to 2 ammo and max out veterancy, so it's gotten a lot of good work done. Tabitha's now down to 86, while Zhaotiantong's at 210. Blah. He has more than double the value on the field, and still his turns, he still has day-to-day as well. He has triple the value on the field now. Tabitha now has 20 energy, but her command tank can get barraged by the battleship and by the artillery piece, who's also almost out of ammo. And Grain does go ahead and resign. This and Grade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.